That's right. Welcome in. Welcome back, folks. The preseason AP poll is out, and we need to talk about it because it is interesting. There is a very, very distinct and unique feature to this AP poll, especially when you look at the teams ranked ahead of Notre Dame. Let's break it all down. AP poll edition of the Always Irish Show. As always, thank you for being here. You can find the program on YouTube. Do it. Subscribe if you haven't yet. Appreciate it very much. Give the video a thumbs up. That helps me as well. Notifications on. You and I both know why. That way you alerted every time a new episode drops. I know you don't want to miss it. Twitter. Search bar, Always Irish Rat. Always Irish Inc. Emails, alwaysirishnd@gmail.com. Audio only anywhere you want it. You can get it. The call-in lines. 312-988-15. You tell Johnny all you've heard and seen about your favorite team, the Notre Dame Fighting Irish. USA Today Irish Wire every day that you wake up and God grants you the gift of being alive. Before you worry about the kids, before you respond to that work email, type Fighting Irish Wire in your internets. Read all about it. All right. Let's get into this. You all know my disclaimer to start. You already know it. I'm going to save some troll writing it in the comments. Largely, this ranking doesn't matter. But generally speaking to me, this preseason AP ranking doesn't really matter practically in a lot of ways. Now, if I thought Notre Dame was a top 10 team and they're like not even in the top 25 or something, then I could argue practically it matters. And I'd go, whoa. This seems way off. Like, what are we doing here? What's going on at conspiring against Notre Dame? If it was something where like it looked like we had a top 10 team and you're ranked like 30th or something, that's different. But in the ballpark, I figured Notre Dame would be 10, 11, 12-ish, 9, 10, 11, 12, somewhere in there. And it would line up pretty close with the first coaches poll. Somewhere in that region is what I was figuring. So the only way I say it's practically an issue is if you're really off the radar and you shouldn't be. That's not the case. But really, they shouldn't even have these rankings till about week 6 or 7. If you look at all of the non-conference schedules, like the first month, all the teams like Michigan that played nobody, you're not going to learn nothing about Michigan unless they sleepwalk Marshall style, you know. You shouldn't even really have these rankings till about week 7. Give people a few weeks to get into conference, then do it. But you and I both know you got to get clicks. You got to sell magazines. You need people to watch your YouTube videos. Like, it's all promotion. Run the commercials. Top 10 matchup. You need it for all those reasons, okay? But perceptually, it is interesting. That's where it kind of lets you know what everybody thinks of your team. Practically, things are going to work out and shake out the way they always do. But perceptually, it does help tell you what people think of your squad. Notre Dame came in at 13th and an 8.5 Vegas win total line. So the good news is Notre Dame's schedule is built that Notre Dame's going to get the result they deserve. Okay? They're going to be exactly where they earn to be because of the merits of this schedule. With 3 top 10 teams in it from 3 different conferences, Notre Dame's going to end up exactly where they fairly and justly end up to be this year. Now, that isn't always the case. It depends on the schedule. For example, Brian Kelly's last year, where Notre Dame's toughest game of the year was Cincinnati at home, and he couldn't handle it. It was too hard for Kelly. And he just couldn't handle it too much. The powerhouse that was Cincinnati, Kelly couldn't figure it out. That national power, that elite recruiting operation at Cincinnati, Kelly couldn't figure it out at home. That is a situation where you're sitting there with that loss, and then you got to convince people you're worth a playoff spot because you lost to Cincinnati at home. This schedule ain't like that. This schedule is going to break down exactly where Notre Dame deserves to be. The schedule is going to tell the story. You don't have to sell it this time. Whether that's good, bad, makes me mad or sad, that's what it's going to be. So there is no sell job necessary on this one. No sell job. Notre Dame's going to be exactly where they earn to be in the bowl season. All right? And that's good in a way because it means Notre Dame has full control over how this goes. All right? You win your games, you're going to be in. You have one loss, you're probably going to be in with this schedule. That will take care of itself. But I am interested in the larger landscape here. The bigger picture, looking at the teams ahead of Notre Dame, looking at who they play, looking at all that stuff. So let's take a look at this ranking here. I'm going to bring this up, and we're going to present, and we're going to share the screen, and we're going to look at it together. All right, let's see what we got. Let's break this down. Okay, so you got Georgia, Michigan, Ohio State, Alabama, Brian Kelly, Southern Cal, Penn State, Florida State. Oh, beat Kelly. Clemson, Washington, Texas, Tennessee, ND. So there's your first 13. Okay, Notre Dame landing at 13. Let's look at this. First things first. Notre Dame has 3 top 10 teams from 3 different conferences, and that's pretty heavy. Pretty top heavy. All right? Pretty top heavy. Here's what jumps out to me. Think about this, you guys. Really think about this. 6 teams starting ranked ahead of Notre Dame have new quarterbacks that they are breaking in with little to no experience starting. All of them are not going to be good, you guys. It's a mathematical certainty. All of those new starters are not going to be good right away. It's just not physically possible. The odds won't allow it. That is a big deal when you're looking at the teams ahead of Notre Dame. And Notre Dame's rocking out with a 6th-year experienced higher-level quarterback. And I got 6 teams ahead of us that you don't know what you're going to get. Now, most of them have elite talent all around, and I get that. But that quarterback could make or break it. 6 of them. They're all not going to be good. They're all not going to be good. And I know there's a lot of talent on a lot of these rosters, but we all know how important that quarterback is. Most important individual position in sports. Okay? They're all not going to be good. Some of these teams, even though they have a boatload of talent, are going to fall short of elite results because of that quarterback inexperience. Georgia, Ohio State, Buckner at Alabama, or whatever they do there, the Simpsons, whatever they're going to do, Penn State, Clemson, Tennessee, those are big-time unknowns. Big-time unknowns. Next, when I look at the teams ahead of Notre Dame, pretty much everybody from Penn State through like Utah I think you could jumble those up, switch them in the spots or whatever, and nobody would blink. I really do think from Penn State, Florida State, Clemson, Washington, Texas, Tennessee, us, I think you could mix all those up and it'd be fine. I just don't know where any of those teams are. Like that's a drop off to me from the top 5 or 6 and talent wise. And then the rest of that row, including us, you could probably mix up and I wouldn't blink. Penn State 7. I don't believe it. I don't believe it. I've been saying it forever, and I'm going to say it again. Penn State is what Notre Dame was under Brian Kelly. Pretty good recruiting, but not elite. And they're going to beat most of the teams they should beat, and then they're not going to beat anybody big time. That's it. That's what Penn State's been lately. Brian Kelly, Notre Dame teams. Beat the bad teams, beat most of the teams you have more talent than, but they ain't beating Ohio State. They're not beating Michigan. Every time I need Penn State to beat Ohio State or Michigan, they don't. And it's usually ugly. So them at 7 is the annual joke. Penn State gets put in the top 10, I feel like, every year, despite the fact they don't have elite talent and they never beat the best teams in the Big Ten. But there they are in the top 10 every year. I don't believe it. I don't believe it. Beat somebody good, and then I'll believe it. They never do. They just never do. Florida State, LSU. I know there's people going, Florida State in the top 10. Come on. Florida State and LSU, game 1. Game 1. Right away, you're going to find out what you need to know, and these rankings are going to change after Labor Day. I believe that is the Sunday night, Labor Day, only game of the week type deal on Sunday night. Florida State, LSU, one of them's going to drop. So if you don't believe in Florida State, you're going to find out right away. And they got Brian Kelly. And you know, the world is a messed up place. When I'm in a position to have to sit there and root for Florida State, the world's a messed up place, but I'm going to be on my couch. Oh, I can't have Kelly winning that game. I'm all Florida State, baby. That's how you know life's messed up, when I'm pulling for Florida State. Washington, Texas, Tennessee, ahead of Notre Dame. If you say so. Like, I don't know. If you say so, I guess, like, we'll see. Texas is going to be back again. Is that what we're doing? Texas is back legit this time. Believe it when I see it. Like, whatever. They're always back until they're not back. Them in Miami seem to always be back. Every headline, this is the year. And it's never the year. So, with those teams, whatever. I mean, we'll see it. Georgia, Bama, LSU. There's no surprises at all that those rosters are in the top 10. Who survives that SEC gauntlet? LSU, they have a stable quarterback situation. You want to talk about Brian Kelly? At least he's got a quarterback. He knows what he's going to get. Georgia's a loaded roster. You don't know what that quarterback's going to do. Ohio State's a loaded roster. We don't know what their quarterback's going to do. Alabama, loaded roster. You don't have an established quarterback. I don't know what I'm going to get out of those teams without that this year. Georgia, Bama, LSU, man. That's a lot of talent in the SEC right there. That's a lot of talent. But I'm looking at Georgia. That quarterback's a big deal. Ohio State, those are question marks. Even Clemson, 9, Klubnik, how does he get in the mix? You got a Riley brother running the offense. Does it take off right away? I don't know. Michigan, Ohio State, they're always going to be intertwined. So they could be side by side all you want. It's going to change. It's going to change eventually. Southern Cal, They are where they're at, and they're not going to be tested till they play at Notre Dame Stadium. I looked at their schedule. I don't expect them to be tested at all till they play us. So they're going to be all confident, sky high, well within the top 5 when we play them. There's another big opportunity for Notre Dame. You know what else is interesting to me is that Notre Dame has the 3 top 10 teams we play. But I don't think there's anybody else we play in the top 25, even though they're solid teams. 9-4 Duke, real solid team, but not in the top 25. It's going to be really interesting to see as Notre Dame's schedule plays out, who moves up, who moves down, how all that works. Texas, I keep going back to it. They're always back. They're always back, and Penn State's always in the top 10. Those are 2 things I can count on every year. Texas is back narrative and Penn State in the top 10, even though they never beat anybody with the pulse. Never beat anybody with the pulse. Every time you need to rely on Penn State to knock out Michigan or Iowa State, it never happens. Believe it only when I see it. And then again, even Michigan lucks out on that because they don't even get Penn State at Penn State for a night game. They don't even get loud Penn State. They get a day game. Every single schedule break Michigan could have, they have this year. As always, though, these things always sort themselves out. They just do. It's going to work itself out. It's going to sort itself out. But it's just interesting to see the perception going into a year of where these people think these teams are at. But it's all going to shake out. And Notre Dame is in full and complete control of its destiny this year. Notre Dame is not going to be reliant on a committee to value them doing this or that. The schedule is the barometer, and how Notre Dame navigates it, they're going to get the result they earn. They earn. And again, the most interesting note of this whole thing is the trust in top 10 or 11, 12 teams that have a lot of talent, but major unknowns at quarterback. That is very surprising to me. 6 teams out of Notre Dame breaking in new inexperienced guys. You have no idea how that's going to turn out, but I know for sure they're not all hitting. There's going to be some growing pains somewhere. They're not all going to hit. So that is the most interesting takeaway from this poll. What do you guys think? I want to know who you think's too high, who you think's too low. Do you think Notre Dame's just right, or do you not care? Let me know. We'll see you.